So learning to love resistance. How the hell can we do that? When you're feeling intense fear, intense sadness, and there's an energetic pattern that comes online in the body that is basically, it's in the body and it's saying, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel this. That I don't want to feel this, that is the resistance that I'm talking about. So I just wanted to speak to how there's been an allowance of that in my experience, and maybe you'll get something out of it. If you listen to this video, maybe this that question of how do I work with this resistance pattern that all of these teachers, everybody's saying I need to, have equanimity toward, but how do I do it? And why do I keep faltering? And these sorts of things, in my experience, have led to profound non-dual experiences. There's non-dual when you're no longer resisting, and ultimately a letting go of the self. The resistance almost feels like the sense of self, really. So when you can accept that, things start to open up a lot more. A lot more. So I'll speak to this because it was very alive for me this morning, but waking up, there was just this feeling of like, oh, I just don't want to do it today. I don't want to feel this at all. There was a sense of heaviness in the body, and I could feel exactly what I was describing, that resistance. Previously, I think what I would have done was the mind would have been desperately scrambling for a technique or the right way to orient in order to feel ease, in order to have like an insightful view of what was happening. And it was this chaotic soup of scrambling for like emotion work techniques, shadow work techniques, or just like being with the sensation as it is, doubting the fact that I should be doing shadow work. So it was this madhouse, basically, when that resistance would come online, whether that be in the morning, whether that be at the workplace, wherever it would arise. And there was no hiding from that resistance anymore, because a lot of the thought and coping strategies that had worked for me previously, like going into the mind to think about something else, just didn't work at all, obviously. So what do we do in that situation? I think that, and you hear this so much, but I want to try and point to it in a way that maybe you haven't heard before, is radical acceptance. That is the only thing that really works in that situation, in my opinion. Because we're never going to fix the broken self by doing all sorts of shadow work, fancy shadow work techniques and things of this nature to get rid of the resistance. Paradoxically, those techniques can still arise, the willingness and the desire for feeling ease. I used to push that away, like, no, I have to not feel that because that's craving, and I can't do that because if I crave for a better experience. But interestingly, that was also craving in not wanting to do that, because it was rejecting something in order to get it right to feel ease. But if you accept the wanting to make this situation different, and you really accept it, you don't just like intellectually accept it, you really accept the fact that allowing yourself to feel ease is okay, then that in and of itself is very powerful. But I think what's very valuable as well is the recognition that, what if you had to feel resistance for the rest of your life? Let's say you're in the peak of that. What does your mind do in that situation? Does it try to get away from the fact that you may have to feel resistance for the rest of your life? What would it be like just to experience that resistance full on for the whole day? Could you do it? What does your mind say? It's okay if it says, I want to get away from it. But isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that your mind is so desperate? Or maybe it isn't. If you genuinely ask that inquiry, can you be with the resistance? But if you can't, like I was, then I want to suggest this to you. Rather than doing the shadow work techniques, rather than doing all the fancy spiritual techniques, instead, get curious. Like, what is this resistance? It's like this life form, this energetic life form in the body. And it's so powerful. It's trying to get me to distract myself. It's trying to get me to get rid of it. But hold on. What are you, resistance? And then there can be all this discord and uncomfortableness in the body, but what is this resistance feeling? Wow. Let me breathe into that. And it does have an energetic pattern in the body, I've noticed. Often for me, it's in the neck and the shoulders. So if I intone, God damn. If I intone, I don't want to feel this. You can actually feel it, like in the shoulders, right? So my invitation would be to steep yourself like a tea bag in water, in the ocean, in the liquid of that sensation. Like you are a tea bag. Go right into it and breathe into it. Breathe into that resistance. Let the body move in the way that it wants to move when you're in that resistance, in that uncomfortable, squirmy place that nobody wants to go, that the identified mind wants to escape from, and will try and use all the fancy techniques immediately to try and get rid of, if that's the way that you've conditioned the body mind. Or the way that not that you've done it, it's like nobody's doing that, but breathing right into that resistance and not faltering on it for like 30 minutes or more, you know? The mind can be like, okay, I can do that for 5 minutes, and then, but then it goes back to its old patterns after that. It's like, okay, cool, that was a cool little thing I did then, but now I'm gonna go back to my, like, fixing it again. What if you just spent the day getting curious about resistance? What is this life form? Because resistance is actually trying to keep you safe, really. It's just trying to help you. So why do you keep pushing it away? And it's okay to want to do that, but I think, yeah, just going right into it for once. Do it for 30 minutes. Do it for the whole day. Take it with you into the workplace. Life will happen. Life will sort itself out. Life will do what you need. Life will unfold naturally when you allow the resistance. So stop trying to fix it. But I need to, it's too uncomfortable, okay, be with that sensation. The helplessness might come online. I can't do this, I don't want to be with this anymore, this is too much, what's this all about? Why did I even start on the spiritual practice? You can feel that in the body. Be with it. Every resistance pattern that comes online, steep yourself in it like a tea bag. Breathe love into it. Breathe lovingly into it. Everything, the doubt that comes online. I won't be able to do this, Sam. Breathe into that. I can't do it. No, there's no way. Breathe into that. And then when you're in a social situation, you meet up with somebody, that's when the resistance can really come online, for me especially. Breathing into that. Okay, I don't want to be in this situation. Thank you. There might be an uncomfortable feeling that you just can't be with. Okay, I accept that I just can't be with that. What does that feel like? See, and you're just enveloping unconditional love and into every arising in the emotion body. And just see where that takes you. And let me know how that goes in the comments. I'd be really curious to see what you make of this, because it's been transformative for me. And I'm sure it will be for you if this is something you relate to. Much love. Thank you.